Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to the Pop Corner and welcome back to the episode number 11 of Cult Classic Sundays, my series on this channel where I watch a cult classic movie every Sunday for the very first time, suggested by you guys, and after you guys voted for it by a huge margin this week, I finally watched Cinema Paradiso. Cinema Paradiso is an Italian film that came out in 1988, and since this movie is not available in English and Hindi dubbed, I watched this movie in original Italian language with English subtitles. The movie is written and directed by Giuseppe Torrentore. I'm sorry if I am pronouncing the names wrong because all of the cast and the director's name are Italian's name and I don't know how to pronounce them. So movie is directed by and written by Giuseppe Torrentore, and in the main cast of this movie we have Philippe Noret as Alfredo and Salvatore Casio as the young Toto. The story of this movie follows Salvatore, also known as Toto, a successful filmmaker who returns to his hometown after many years after learning that Alfredo, the projectionist of the local theater from his town called Cinema Paradiso, has passed away. Alfredo wasn't just a projectionist in a cinema, he became a friend when Toto was 8 years old, and he was kind of his father figure, mentor. And this movie explored the childhood, friendship, first love, dreams, and the magic of cinema. But before I share my thoughts about this movie with you guys, I have one awesome fun fact about this movie that I want to share with you guys. When Cinema Paradiso was first released in Italy, it wasn't really successful. It was a disaster on box office. It was almost 3 hours long, and after the negative reviews and audience completely rejecting the movie, the director re-edited the whole movie and he cut down almost 1 hour of the movie, which is considered one of the best movie ever made, because this shorter version got nominated in Oscar for the best picture in a foreign language, and they won that award, and they also won an award in Kansas Film Festival. So with that said, let's jump right into my thoughts. Honestly guys, before yesterday I had never heard about this movie called Cinema Paradiso, since it's an Italian film, and I haven't watched that much of Italian movies. I didn't knew about this. But when you guys suggested this movie for this week's Cult Classic Sundays episode, so I put this movie along 3 other movies in a poll, and you guys voted for it highly. And after you guys voted for it, I read the synopsis of this movie and I was completely sold. This movie is about a child who falls in love with cinema, and honestly guys, this isn't just a movie, this is literally a love letter to cinema itself. And unfortunately, when I looked it up where to watch this movie in India, this movie is not available on any streaming platform in India. Not for streaming, not for rent, not for buying, not for nothing. And let's just say I had to find my way to this movie in Captain Jack Sparrow style. And after I started watching this movie and seeing this child who is only 8 years old, but the way he sneaks into the cinema every single day and watch movies reminded me why I fell in love with the cinema. Honestly, when I was 8 years old, I wasn't into the movies at all. I was busy playing cricket, I was busy playing hide and seek with my friends. But my journey as a movie lover actually started during COVID, and eventually guys, that love turned into this YouTube channel itself. I love watching movies, and honestly guys, I enjoy talking about them even more. That is why I created this channel, and that is why I record my reviews like that I am having a conversation with a friend. That is why I talk about all the spoilers and all, and I talk about my feelings and experience about the movies. That is why this channel exists, because my love for the movies, and that is why this movie connected with me on such a personal level. If you genuinely love watching movies, this film feels like it was made specifically for you. One of my favorite running jokes throughout the movie was the priest. Every single movie had to be approved by himself before the audience watches it, and every time he sees a kissing scene or an intimate scene in the movie, he rings his bell, and then Alfredo cuts that part out from the reel. It was like that this village had its own censorship board. Watching the audience get frustrated every single time when movie suddenly jumped because another kissing scene had been removed from the reel. But when the new Cinema Paradiso was finally built after the fire, then the censorship stopped, and when the people of the village saw the kiss on the big screen for the very first time, seeing their reaction, it was like they have been waiting for this for a long time, and they finally got to see it. And seeing their reaction, it was like a child got a chocolate chocolate or something, the smiles and the shine on their faces, it was funny. And seeing all the people from the town watching the movies, they are crazy about the movies because this is the only medium of entertainment that they have. And seeing them watching the movies, fighting for the movies, and shouting about the movies, and watching all kind of movies in the Cinema Paradiso. If they are watching a emotional movie, they are all crying, and if they are watching a action movie, they are terrified and they are excited. There was a one character who got a heart attack when he was watching action movie, and then there's the explosion happen in that movie. He got a heart attack and he died at that moment. It was hilarious. And then there was a spitting guy who sits in the balcony every single night, and he spits on the people who are sitting downstairs. But eventually, what he got on his face, it was really so much satisfying. Then there was a scene when the whole town is watching a intimate scene in the theater. There is a nude scene going on, and then there is a whole front row filled with kids who are doing one thing that every teenager does while watching a nude scene. But they were doing that in the theater, and I can't say in my words what they were doing because I can't say it on YouTube. But when the security guy came in and he saw what they were doing, his reaction was priceless. It was really amazing. And that was not all. That was just the beginning, because the adults are having sex in the back of the cinema while everyone is watching the movie. It was everything that the people of this town were doing while watching the movie. It was hilarious. It was funny, and I was enjoying every bit of it. Then if we talk about my favorite moment, the best moment of the movie, it will be the fire sequence when the whole Cinema Paradiso was caught in fire, and young Toto, small Toto, had to drag out Alfredo from the burning building by himself. That shows how much Toto loves Alfredo, that how much he looks up to him. That whole scene was goosebumps, and it was wholesome, heartwarming, and it was really great. Then there was one scene when they got a delivery for only one reel to play in two different theaters, and that whole sequence was amazing to see them running back and forth to both theaters to switching the reels and all. Seeing that sequence, it shows that how much difficult to watch a movie in theaters at that time, how they used to do that, how much the work it demanded at that time. Nowadays it just press the play button and the movie starts in the theater, but back then it was a real headache. So these were the things that I really enjoyed about this movie, I loved about this movie. Then there comes the teenage Toto, and that's where the movie lacks for me, because the second half of the movie is about the uh, teenage Toto who falls in love with a girl called Elena. I think I'm saying her name right, and that's where this movie left me, because I was in this movie to see the Toto's love about cinema, and to see the relationship between Alfredo and Toto. But I was not in for the romantic movement and romantic arc. That's where this movie completely shifted the focus. And I'm not saying that the love story was not good. It was good, it was decent, but I was not in this movie for a love story. I was in it for the love of cinema. And that is why that whole sequence, that whole relationship and all sequence was dragged for me. But then there comes the ending of this movie when Toto comes back for the funeral of Alfredo, and seeing that the whole town is completely different. The Cinema Paradiso is about to be tear down by the city, and the whole town has changed. And when he found out that Alfredo told everyone not to tell Toto that he has died, because he didn't wanted Toto to come back in that village, because he wanted Toto to be a successful man, to pursue his dreams and all. That is why when Toto left the town, he said never come back, don't think about us and all. And it was felt like a kind of rude at that time when Toto was leaving, but in the ending it made sense. And then there comes the ending of this movie, and the kissing montage. It was like this movie comes around in a full circle when the movie started, when the priest was cutting out all the kissing scene, and Toto was asking Alfredo to get those cut out scene from the movies for himself, but Alfredo refused. But then in the end he left a gift, he left a compilation for Toto of all those kissing scenes that he had cut out from the movies. And while Toto was watching it, he was filled with tears, and seeing his reaction in that moment, it was really wholesome. And the way the movie came around the whole circle, it was really great. So guys, these were my unfiltered, unscripted thoughts about Cinema Paradiso. I absolutely loved the movie, except the part of the love story. I loved the whole movie, every bit of it. I loved it. I had a really great time. I thank you every single one who ever suggested this movie and then voted for this movie for today's episode. So guys, thank you for that. And now it is your turn to tell your thoughts about this movie, because if you have clicked on this movie, I know that you have watched this movie before. Now I want you to share your experience where you watched this movie for the very first time. What you thought about it, what you felt, what was your opinion of it. And if you also have seen the director's cut, please share your experience about that also in the comment box below. You can write a small review about it in the comment, because I would love to know your take on this movie. And don't forget to drop your suggestion for the next week's Cult Classic Sundays episode. So guys, that's all in this video. I'll see you in the next one. Till then, take care.